It started with silence. No text on my birthday. No phone call. No little flower emoji she always sent at night. At first, I thought maybe her phone had broken, or maybe she was busy, overwhelmed with her college classes. That's what I told myself. But deep down, I felt it. A shift. A coldness that didn't come from technology, but from something deeper. Something personal. It wasn't until I opened Facebook that the truth slapped me across the face. Her profile didn't load. Her photo, her posts, gone. I typed her name into the search bar. No results found. I tried Instagram, same thing. Then TikTok, vanished. My granddaughter had blocked me. Hold on a moment before we move forward. Let us know where in the world you're watching from. And if you're loving these stories, don't forget to hit subscribe. Tomorrow's episode is going to be absolutely mind-blowing. I sat there, phone still in my hand as my chest went tight. I felt stupid. I didn't even know when she did it. Maybe it had been days. Maybe weeks. But I had been writing her daily messages like a fool, not knowing that she had erased me from her world. It felt like a punch. Not because of the block itself. God knows kids block people all the time. But because we were close. Or I thought, we were. I raised her. I held her when her mother didn't show up for school recitals. I bought her clothes when her parents were broke. I was the one who stayed up late with her during high school finals, even when I was working 2 jobs. She didn't just block me, she discarded me. My son, Craig, never said a word. He acted normal the last time we spoke. He called about a plumber. Referral, casual as ever. And when I asked how things were going with Layla at college, he just said, "She's loving it," and moved on like nothing had happened. Not a hint of guilt. Not even a pause. I stared at that blank screen for what felt like hours. My thumb hovered over the call button, but I couldn't do it. I didn't want to beg. I didn't want to chase. I just wanted to know why. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept opening my phone, checking the same blank screen. No message, no apology. Just silence. I sat at the kitchen table the next morning, coffee going cold in front of me, trying to make sense of it. Maybe her mother had said something. Angela never liked me. Not since the day Craig brought her home from college and I didn't fawn over her expensive handbag or her fake charm. Angela always wanted control, and she didn't like that Layla and I had a bond she couldn't fake. Still, I thought Layla would be stronger than that, smarter than that. But apparently, I was wrong. I didn't cry. Not then. I just went to the cabinet, pulled out the thick brown folder labeled Layla College, and flipped through the printouts. Tuition receipts, bank statements, monthly autopay confirmations from my personal savings account to the university's bursar office. All of it, every semester, paid on time, by me. I kept paying even after Craig said he would take over. He never did. They must have thought I was too old to keep track, but I tracked every penny. I just never told them. I wanted Layla to feel independent, like she had earned her freedom. What I didn't expect was to be erased. When I tried to contact the university later that day, I said it was about a billing correction. They asked for my sponsor ID and pulled up the account. Layla's tuition, housing, meal plan, all covered. "Oh yes," the girl said on the phone. "You're the listed financial sponsor. You've been paying the full balance for 3 years now." I asked her to email me the statement. She did. I printed it out and sat there, staring at it. My name was on every line. Layla had blocked. Me moved out of state, changed phone numbers, and didn't even know I was still the one keeping her there. I felt something inside me close. Not anger, not sadness. Just a kind of clarity I hadn't had before. The next weekend, I saw Angela's post on Facebook. A big, smiling photo of Layla in front of a dorm building, holding up a sign. Self-made. First in the family to go to college. I stared at the screen in disbelief. Self-made? She wrote in the caption, "Proud of my girl for doing it all on her own. All her hard work paid off." I read it again. And again. And then I set my phone down without commenting, without liking, without calling anyone. I walked to the kitchen, took out the last invoice from the college. She said, I got one from the community fund and another from the local Rotary Club. It's not enough for a full semester, but it gets me halfway. The rest I'll cover with my job. She handed me the papers. I scanned through them. Real, legitimate, no shortcuts. That's good, I said. You're learning how to stand on your own. I am, she said. And I'll be honest, some days I hate it, but it also feels better than pretending. She stayed for another half hour. Before she left, she asked, Do you still go to those foundation meetings? I do. Would you mind if I came to one? Just to listen. I didn't answer immediately. I didn't want to rush it. You can come, I said finally. But don't speak for me. I won't, she said. That Sunday she showed up, quiet, attentive, sat in the back, listened to a woman talk about helping her niece finish a GED after her sister walked out. Layla didn't speak, just took notes. She left after the session ended, saying a quiet thanks before heading out. A few days later, I received an email from the foundation director, Ms. Alma. I wanted to let you know that your granddaughter came by the office. She offered to volunteer during weekend workshops. She didn't use your name. She just said she was trying to be part of something real. Thought you'd appreciate knowing. I did. The final week before Christmas, Craig called. I just wanted to say thank you, he said. Layla's different now. I don't know what happened exactly, but whatever you did, it worked. I didn't do anything, I replied. She did it herself. Finally. He didn't try to push further. Angela never reached out again. And honestly, I preferred it that way. On Christmas Eve, I received a small envelope. No return address. Inside was a photo. Bianca standing in front of a hospital, holding her first badge as a nurse in training. She'd printed one sentence across the back. Thank you for not giving up on someone you didn't even know. I placed it next to Layla's high school photo, not because I was replacing one with the other, but because both represented choices I had made with my eyes open. That night, Layla came by again. No gifts, no big emotional moment, just her. She helped me set the table. We ate quietly. She didn't check her phone once. As we cleaned up, she asked, Do you think we'll ever be like we were before? No, I said, but we can be something else. Something better, if we're honest. She nodded. I'm okay with that. And for the first time, I believed it, because I didn't need her to love me for my money. I needed her to remember who I was when I gave it. And now, finally she did. But it was the first time she publicly took responsibility for her part. And that counted for something. Angela, of course, deleted her original post a few hours later. The messages stopped after that, not because people suddenly understood, but because there was nothing left to stir. The drama had dried up. Without fuel, gossip burns out fast. That Sunday, Layla came by again. She brought a small paper bag with 2 containers of soup and some crackers. I didn't know if you'd eaten, she said. I have, I replied. But thank you. She sat down on the couch this time, not at the table, more relaxed, but still cautious. Everything got noisy, she said. I didn't want it to. I know. I posted what I did because I was tired of people twisting the story, especially people who didn't live it. I nodded. It helped. She reached into her backpack and pulled out a folder. These are my scholarship applications. One of the organizations asked if I had anyone who mentored me. I put your name down. They might call? I raised an eyebrow. You sure you want to do that? You might ruin your self-made image. She winced. I deserved that. We sat in silence for a while. Then she added, I don't expect you to write anything. I just wanted to be honest about what I'm doing. That was the first time. I believed her intentions were clean. Before she left, she looked at me and said, I'll never ask you to fix things again. I don't want your money. I just hope eventually we can get to a place where I can earn back your trust. I didn't answer. Not because I didn't want to, but because I knew it wasn't time yet. Some things can't be rushed, not even with soup and scholarship applications. After she left, I stood by the window for a few minutes and watched her drive off. Then I turned to the folder she'd left behind. Neatly labeled, every page filled out by hand. She was starting over, and this time, so was I. A few weeks passed. Thanksgiving was around the corner. I wasn't expecting anyone. The last few years had been predictable. Angela cooked, Craig drank too much wine, and Layla barely looked up from her phone. I brought dessert, cleaned up their kitchen after everyone left, and went home alone. This year, I planned to stay home from the start. I bought a small turkey breast, some canned cranberry sauce, and a frozen pie. I didn't decorate. I didn't prepare extra chairs. I didn't wait for an invitation. On the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, Layla called. "Grandma, I know we haven't talked about the holidays, but I was wondering if I could come by on Friday. Not Thursday, just for a bit." I said yes. I didn't ask if Craig or Angela knew. I assumed they didn't. She arrived right after noon holding a small aluminum pan. "Mac and cheese," she said. I made it myself. I brought out 2 plates. We sat quietly and ate. Midway through the meal, she said, "I talked to Bianca." That caught my attention. She messaged me. She wanted to thank me. I looked at her. She said she was the recipient of the redirected scholarship, Layla continued. She'd found out through the foundation's newsletter, and they told her I used to be the one getting that support. I waited for what came next. "She didn't rub it in," Layla said. "She just said she hoped I was okay, that she was sorry for how it all went down, and that she'd make the most of it." I nodded. Layla took a breath. "It made me realize something. I always thought you were just helping out, because you were bored, that it wasn't that big a deal to you. I never saw it as a sacrifice, but now that I'm working and budgeting and figuring out how to pay rent, I get it." I stayed quiet. "I took everything you gave me and acted like I built it myself. And then I erased you from the picture." She set down her fork. "I don't know how I thought that would end well." I pushed her a glass of water. "Sometimes people don't think. They just float through the benefits until the day someone shuts off the faucet." Layla didn't argue. She looked around the living room. "You changed the photos," I nodded. "Some of them." She looked over at the mantel, where only one photo of her remained. High school graduation, the last time things still felt honest. She didn't ask me to put others back. She didn't offer any defense. She just said, "Fair." After lunch, we moved to the couch. She pulled a manila envelope from her bag. "These are the grant confirmations," and cooked my own meals every night. I started walking again in the mornings. I donated a few old coats to the women's shelter nearby. Life wasn't exciting, but it was finally mine. The only message I received from Layla in that time came through the mail, a card, no envelope, no check inside, just a plain handwritten note. "Grandma, I'm enrolled again. Starting slow, paying my way. I won't ask for anything. Just wanted you to know that I heard you. I'm sorry for making you feel like you didn't matter. You always did." Layla, I read it twice. Then I placed it in the drawer next to Bianca's thank you letter, side by side, 2 very different kinds of acknowledgement. One from a stranger who received something and valued it. The other from someone I had loved and lost, who was learning the cost of taking things for granted. It was the beginning of October when the phone started ringing again. Not from Layla, not from Craig. This time, it was from people I hadn't heard from in years. Cousins, old church friends, 2 former co-workers from the hardware store I'd retired from 6 years ago. All calling or messaging with the same kind of tone. Hesitant, half accusatory. "Hey, Alma, I heard about what happened with Layla. Hope everything's okay. You know, families go through rough patches. Don't let this become permanent. She's a good girl, Alma. Kids make mistakes. She's just young." I didn't reply to any of them, but it was clear someone had been talking, and I didn't need to guess who. Angela had taken the next logical step after losing control at home. She turned outward. If she couldn't pressure me directly, she'd work the long game. Public perception. I received a screenshot from my neighbor 2 days later. A Facebook post by Angela. "It's hard watching your daughter struggle in college because the people she trusted most turned their backs on her. I taught Layla to be strong, but some betrayals still cut deep. Not every grandmother shows love through support. Some only offer it when there's something in it for them. Disappointed, her family first. No names, of course, but it was obvious who she meant. I didn't comment. I didn't respond. Instead, I opened the letter drawer again, pulled out Layla's note, and read it one more time. She had said she heard me. She had said she was sorry, and for now that would have to be enough. Still, I couldn't ignore how Angela's post began spreading. Within 3 days, one of the local church deacons reached out to me directly. "Alma, I just wanted to check in. You know, some folks are saying Layla was cut off with no warning." I asked him calmly. "Did those folks also say who paid 3 years of her tuition? Or who bought her every school supply and book she ever used since 1st grade?" He cleared his throat. "No, they didn't. Then they don't know the whole story." I hung up before he could say anything else. The fallout came not because I had done something wrong, but because I stopped doing what everyone had quietly come to expect. They didn't see my boundaries as healthy. They saw them as betrayal, especially because I never explained them. I just implemented them. That's when Craig called again. "Mom," he said, his voice tired. "Angela's telling everyone you're freezing Layla out to prove a point. That this is some revenge thing. That you're trying to punish her for moving out of state." I didn't even sigh. "And what are you doing about that, Craig?" He paused. "She's spinning it hard. Even Layla's getting messages now. From people saying she should go make peace with her grandmother. She's overwhelmed. She didn't ask for this." "She may not have asked for it," I said, "but she benefited from it for a long time." "I know," he said. "But she's trying. She's applying for jobs. She's doing it the hard way now. Angela's not helping. She's making it worse." Then maybe it's time Layla said something. He didn't answer right away, but I knew he understood what I meant. 2 days later, Layla posted on her own social media, "I made mistakes. I believed things I shouldn't have. I let pride get in the way. I was supported more than I ever acknowledged, and I'm not proud of how I acted. If people are angry on my behalf, they don't need to be. This is my situation to fix. No one owes me anything. I'm working now, and I'm figuring it out one day at a time." I read it twice. It didn't undo what had been said about me. I felt more like I had sat across from a stranger who was just now realizing the damage done. The next few days were quiet again. No follow-ups, no texts, no "thank you for meeting me." Nothing. It was Tuesday when Angela tried to insert herself. Again. I came home from the grocery store to find her car parked outside my house. I didn't invite her in. She didn't even say hello. "I heard Layla came over," she said, arms crossed like she was scolding a child. "You really think you've made your point now?" I put the bags down on my porch, unlocked my door and turned to her. "What point do you think I was trying to make, Angela? You punished her," she said sharply. "You cut her off financially. You pulled the rug out from under her just to prove you were the one in control. And now you've made her come crawling back to you." I laughed once through my nose. "Layla didn't crawl. She walked, on her own 2 feet. And I didn't punish her. I stopped financing her lie." Angela's mouth tightened. "She's 21. She made a mistake. She was overwhelmed." "And you?" I asked. "What's your excuse?" Angela rolled her eyes. "You always think you're the victim. But you've never liked me. Not since the day I married Craig. You always held it over my head that you were the stable one. Well, congratulations. You've finally broken the family apart." "No," I said calmly. "That happened the moment you taught my granddaughter to pretend I didn't exist." Angela stared at me, her mouth opening and closing like she was searching for a comeback. But nothing came. She picked up her keys and walked back to her car without another word. I didn't watch her leave. That evening, I sat down and wrote an email to the foundation handling the scholarship I'd set up. I asked for an update on the new student's progress. Her name was Bianca, and she had written me a thank you note weeks earlier. She was taking night classes, working at a hospital part-time, and planning to apply to nursing school in the fall. She ended her letter with, "Thank you for believing in someone who had no one. It stayed with me. Bianca had never met me, had never stepped foot in my home. but her gratitude felt more real than anything I'd received from my own blood in years. By Thursday, Layla texted, "Just wanted to say thanks again for the meeting. I know I've got work to do. I'm applying for scholarships on my own. Trying not to mess this up again?" I replied, "I hope you figure it out. I really do." She didn't write back, but she didn't block me either. That weekend, I went to a fundraiser for the Education Foundation. Nothing fancy, just folding chairs, lemonade in plastic cups, and a few volunteers trying to gather small donations for students in need. I kept to myself, but one of the organizers recognized my name on the donor list and asked if I wanted to speak. I said no. I didn't need recognition. I'd had enough of being seen only when I was useful. Still, I stayed for the full event. They announced 5 new recipients of emergency grants. None of them were related to me. None of them knew my story. But when they stood up and thanked the room, I saw something in their faces I hadn't seen in a long time. Genuine appreciation. It hit me harder than I expected. On Monday, Craig called. His tone was different, strained, slower. "Layla's been trying," he said. "She got a part-time job. She's talking about community college now. Says she wants to take responsibility." "That's good," I replied. He was quiet. "I know we messed up," he added. "I should have stepped in sooner. Should have stopped Angela when she started filling her head with poison." I didn't respond. "She's angry with us now," he continued. "Mostly with her mom. They've been fighting about everything." I'm not surprised. She's not asking for money, just advice. And that's new. I don't think she's ever had to make real choices before. "That was the problem from the beginning," I said. "You raised her like someone would always catch her," Craig sighed. "We made it easy, and now it's hard." "Yes," I said. "And that's how it should be now." There was a long pause. "Are we still cut off?" he asked. "You were never cut off," I said. "You were released." From that point on, I didn't hear much. Weeks went by. No drama, no screaming. Just quiet. I kept to my routines. I went to the grocery store on Wednesdays, visited the library on Fridays. I didn't open it that day, or the next. It took me 4 days. When I finally did, the handwriting was shaky. The message short. "Grandma, I didn't know. I swear, I thought Dad was paying." That's what Mom always said. I don't know what to say, except that I'm sorry. I messed up. I took everything for granted. I was angry for no reason. And I let Mom tell me who you were, instead of remembering what I knew. Thank you for everything. I don't deserve your help anymore. I just wanted you to know that I'm ashamed of how I treated you. Layla, it wasn't long. It wasn't dramatic, and it didn't fix anything. But it was honest. That was more than I expected. Still, I didn't reach out. I needed time too. Over the next few days, I started hearing things from neighbors. Small whispers that Angela was telling people I had cut them off out of spite. That I'd sabotaged Layla's future because I was jealous of their success. Success? That family had lived off my bank account for nearly 20 years. I wasn't surprised. What did surprise me was when someone from Layla's university contacted me directly. "Ms. Alma," the woman said on the phone. "My name is Andrea Nichols. I'm from the university's financial aid office. I know you removed yourself from the sponsor account last month, but I wanted to call because we received a request to reassign your former contributions to a new student." "I already made that decision," I said. "I have a signed directive and trust documentation with the foundation." "I know," she replied. "I just wanted to say thank you." The young woman who received it? Her name's Bianca. She cried when she found out she didn't have to drop out. I was quiet. She said she's never had anyone fight for her before. After we hung up, I sat at the dining room table with the letter from Layla in one hand and the phone in the other. The contrast was sharp. One girl had erased me. The other didn't even know me, but was grateful anyway. That night, I decided to do something for myself. I packed up every photo of Craig and Angela and Layla from my living room shelves and stored them in a box. Not out of anger, just out of need. I left one photo up, Layla and I at her high school graduation. The last time I remember her looking at me like she meant it. That one stayed. Later that week, I got an email. From Layla. Subject line: no pressure. Grandma, I know I can't undo what I did, but I want to. I'd like to come over and talk. Just talk. No requests, no guilt, no expectations. You don't have to say yes, but I wanted you to know I'm here. Layla left the message unread for a full day before I replied with 3 words: Sunday, 2 p.m. When she arrived, she looked older, not in age, but in weight, like someone carrying something they couldn't drop. I let her in. We didn't hug, we sat down. She looked around like the house had changed, even though it hadn't. I didn't expect you to agree, she said. I didn't expect you to come, I replied. There was a long pause. I was wrong, she said. About everything, about you, about what I thought I knew. You believed what made life easier, I said. Angela gave you someone to blame and you let her do it. Layla didn't deny it. I was angry, she said. And lazy. I didn't ask questions. I just believed what I wanted to. Another pause. I want to make it right. But I know I can't undo what I said. Or what I didn't say. I nodded. No, you can't. But you can stop lying to yourself. That's a start. She looked down. I dropped out. I know. I'm working part-time at a coffee shop, trying to re-enroll for next semester. I didn't offer help. I didn't offer money. She looked at me and asked, "Do you hate me?" I answered honestly, "No, but I stopped waiting for you to remember me. I had to." She nodded. We sat there for a while. She didn't ask for anything, and I didn't offer. That was the most progress we'd made in years. She left around 4. As I watched her car pull away, I felt a strange mix of grief and relief, like letting go of a rope I had held too long. She had found the truth. But now, she had to live with it. And I had finally started living without them. Sunday came and went. Layla had shown up, spoken honestly, and left without asking for anything. I appreciated that, but I didn't feel closer to her afterward. Not in the way people might expect. Her 8th grade graduation, I bought her the new dress she wore. Prom night, I took her to the salon, paid for her hair, makeup, nails, everything. I was there, always there. But they had built a new version of the story, one where I didn't exist, and I had let them. Now I was undoing that mistake, one step at a time. 2 days later, Angela called. I answered. "What the hell is wrong with you?" she said without greeting. "Do you have any idea what kind of mess you've caused? Layla's financial aid is in jeopardy. She has no backup. We're scrambling. I'm sure you'll figure it out," I said flatly. "This is petty," she snapped. "You're ruining your own granddaughter's future." I stayed calm. "You mean the same future I've been funding without a single thank you? The one you've taken credit for in front of your friends?" Angela laughed coldly. "Oh, don't act like you're some kind of martyr. You did it because you like control. You want Layla to owe you something." "No," I said, standing up. "I wanted her to succeed, but now I want peace, and that means not being treated like a doormat by my own family." She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "You'll regret this. I already regret waiting this long." I hung up. That week, Layla emailed me. Not a call, not a visit, an email. It read, "Grandma, I don't know what happened or why you stopped paying. I thought you wanted me to succeed. I didn't block you to hurt you. I just needed space. I didn't expect you to pull the rug out from under me like this. Layla, I didn't." Reply. Instead, I forwarded the email to my attorney and asked her to finalize the scholarship transfer. We renamed the fund the Alma Grant Scholarship after my own grandmother, the only person who ever stood by me when my parents cut me off. The scholarship would now support women over 25 returning to school with no family support. It felt right. The next time Craig called, it was different. "Mom," he said, his voice lower, "Layla's dropping out for the semester. We couldn't cover the gap. She's angry, confused. I didn't respond. She keeps asking why. She wants to talk to you. I thought about it. I really did. But I said, she knows where I live. If she wants to talk, she knows how. But she didn't come, and I didn't wait. 2 weeks passed. I didn't hear from Layla. No knock at my door, no apology, no effort to come by, not even to shout, just silence. And honestly, that told me everything I needed to know. If someone cared more about your money than your presence, they don't deserve either. It was a Tuesday morning when Craig came by again. I saw his car pulling into my driveway from the kitchen window. I let him knock 3 times before I opened the door. He looked tired. Not angry like before. Not loud. Just worn down. "Can I come in?" he asked. I nodded. We sat at the same kitchen table, though this time he brought his own coffee. I didn't offer him any. He reached into a folder and pulled out some printed pages. "She's trying to reapply for a payment plan," he said, sliding the papers toward me. The college gave her a breakdown of everything paid since freshman year. She finally saw it. I looked down at the pages. There it was, plain and simple. My name. Every tuition payment, housing fee, textbook stipend, all in my name. Not Craig's. Not Angela's. Just mine. "She had no idea," he added. "She thought I was the one handling it all. Angela let her think that." I stared at him. "You let your daughter believe a lie for 3 years?" He shifted in his chair. I didn't think it mattered. The money was coming. She was focused. You thought it wouldn't matter if she erased me as long as the money kept coming. I cut in. She got to pretend she did. It on her own while you got to pretend you were the one supporting her. He looked down. I didn't know Angela was feeding her that narrative. I said nothing. Craig ran a hand through his hair. "Look, she's devastated. She feels stupid. Betrayed. I guess we all do." I didn't offer sympathy. "She wrote you a letter," he added, pulling out an envelope. "Handwritten." He slid it across the table. I didn't touch it. Craig waited, then stood up. "I told her it's your choice, but I promised I'd deliver it." He left quietly. I stared at that envelope for the rest of the morning. I washed the dishes, swept the living room, checked the mail, all while it sat there, like a loaded weapon on the table. And made a quiet decision. I was done. No announcement, no email, no fight. I logged into my bank account, canceled the auto payment, and removed myself as the sponsor on the student account. It took 5 minutes. Then I called my lawyer. I asked her to update my trust. The clause that allocated money to Layla's graduate education would be removed. I wanted it redirected into a new scholarship for first-generation college women with no family support. "Are you sure?" she asked. "You're still listed on her FAFSA. Remove me," I said. "She wants to be self-made. Let her start now." That night, I slept better than I had in months. I didn't tell Craig. I didn't need to. He'd find out soon enough, and when he did, I hoped he'd explain to Layla exactly who had been paying for her self-made life all along, because I was done paying for people who didn't know how to say thank you. 2 days passed before the silence broke. It came in the form of a voicemail from Craig, short and irritated. "Mom, we got something from Layla's school. Says the tuition hasn't been paid. Did something go wrong with your account? Call me back." "No. How are you?" "No. Thanks for everything. Just straight to the money." I didn't return the call. Instead, I sat down at my dining table, with a legal pad and a pen. I started writing, not for anyone else, but for me. Writing helped me think clearly. I listed everything I'd paid since Layla was a child. Not because I wanted the money back, but because I needed to remind myself of the reality I had lived. Private preschool, 8,200 summer camps from 2nd to 5th grade, 7,400 orthodontist bill Craig never paid, 4,800 AP exam fees, dance lessons, her first car insurance policy, college visits, and finally, the biggest one, 3 full years of tuition and housing at her university, totaling over $94,000. All of it had come from me. No loans, no GoFundMe, no help from Craig or Angela. I tore the page from the pad and placed it in a folder. Then I opened a second folder labeled Will and Estate and added a note. No financial disbursements to Craig or Layla under any conditions. See Trust, A79112 Re Scholarship Redirection. That afternoon, Craig called again. Then Angela. I didn't answer either. By evening, Craig was banging on my front door. I didn't flinch. I opened it calmly. "Why aren't you answering your phone?" he said, walking in like he still lived there. "Layla's account is frozen. They said the last tuition payment didn't go through, and they couldn't reach her sponsor, you." I stood quietly and waited until he finished. Then I said, "That's right, I canceled it." He stared at me. "What? Why would you do that?" I motioned toward the kitchen. "You want coffee? This is going to take more than a few minutes." He followed me, arms crossed, waiting for me to explain. I poured 2 mugs, sat down across from him. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't sugarcoat anything. "Craig, your daughter blocked me, not just on social media, completely. She moved states away, started college, and hasn't spoken to me in almost a year. No calls, no visits, no thank you." "You didn't say anything. Angela certainly didn't." He exhaled. "Mom, you know how kids are. She's just trying to figure herself out." "Craig, she wrote a public post saying she's self-made. Do you think I paid nearly $100,000 for her to pretend I don't exist?" He didn't have an answer. I continued. "I canceled the payments because I was done being invisible. If she wants to pretend I didn't help her, fine. Let her pay her own way now." He leaned back, frustrated. "You should have told us. You should have said something before cutting her off." "I did tell you, Craig, in 100 different ways. You just didn't want to hear it." He opened his mouth, then shut it again. His jaw clenched. I added, "I didn't do this out of spite. I did it because I was tired of paying for people who don't even respect me." He stood up. "Layla's not going to understand this." "She doesn't have to," I said. "She made her decision when she erased me. I'm making mine." He left without finishing his coffee. That night, I opened my old photo albums. Not out of nostalgia, but to face the truth. Every single milestone in Layla's life had me in the background. Her 5th birthday party at the skating rink. I was the one who booked the place and made the cake.